Right then, they huffed and they puffed, but they eventually did make it to the semi-final of the Women's World Cup. It's late at night, close to about quarter to 12, and the Indian team have qualified for the semi-finals of the Women's World Cup. Player of the match is Smriti Mandhana, though I think there was a worthy contender there as well in Rawal, Pratika Rawal, the way she batted with her 122, and later then chipped in with her off spin as well, picking up that one wicket. But eventually, as I said, I think it'll be a huge sigh of relief for the fans of women cricket because they had come in for a lot of criticism, and that criticism primarily came after those heartbreaking defeats, versus Australia, the heartbreaking defeat versus South Africa, and then the heartbreaking defeat that you had versus an English team. So the Sena countries were always an issue with the Indian team. The Sena countries were their Achilles heel, and the final Sena team that India had to face was New Zealand. This was a virtual quarterfinal, but just let me first tell you as to how it is confirmed that the Indian team has made it to the semi-finals. Remember, India has played 6 matches and they now have 6 points. On the other hand, you've got New Zealand that have also played 6 matches but have 4 points. Now, both teams have one game remaining. New Zealand have one game versus England. India has one game versus Bangladesh. Now, many might say that in the worst case scenario, let's say if India were to lose to Bangladesh and if New Zealand were to upset England, both scenarios highly unlikely, but in the case if that is to happen, many will say then both teams will be tied at 6 points. So how is it that we're saying that India have qualified? Just to let you know, that is because the first thing that you consider are the points, and the next thing that you consider after the points is uh, the number of wins. And on that count, New Zealand have one, remember, and India already have three. So even if New Zealand are to win their last game and India are to lose their last game, still New Zealand will have 2 wins. India will still remain on 3 wins. Both teams tied on same points. Even if there was no wins, and even if you went into, let's say, the net run rate, even there, the Indian team would be ahead because there is a massive gap between India and New Zealand. And I don't think New Zealand have that much opportunity to overtake India's net run rate. So, anyway, that is still a moot point. I was just dwelling into the other criteria that can be looked at. So the first thing that are going to be looked at is number of wins. And on that count, India is ahead of New Zealand. So New Zealand are out. India have made it, and the top four now are confirmed, and no surprises there. Uh, that is Australia, South Africa, England, and India. Of course, things can change from here as well. India can attempt at finishing higher in the points table. They can, uh, you know, uh, maybe if not fourth, I think as far as I know, India can maybe no, actually, yeah, it is confirmed, pretty much confirmed that India then would finish at fourth position. So they are pretty much confirmed to be fourth. And yeah, they are going to face either Australia or South Africa, most likely. Australia, South Africa. In fact, yeah, as things panned out, even England can get to 11 points. Then you will see the number of wins. Yeah, there is a, uh, you know, most likely as it stands, India finishing fourth, Australia, the top of the table. So most likely you're going to have a Australia versus India semi-final. And that is going to be a tricky game. I'll get to the semi-final shortly, but let's just dwell on this match. A few things that really stand out. The first, Pratika Rawal. I wasn't. I'd be very honest. I wasn't really convinced of how far um, India could go with that policy because, especially in the last match, India had a scenario where they had played an extra bowler and they had one less batter, and I thought that proved to be very crucial in the last game, and India probably could have turned it around had they had an extra batter. So I thought maybe one way is you get Pratika out and get Harleen to open, or maybe there was another alternative that you could look at is get Harleen out somewhere and try and get Jemima. But I'm happy to note that the first thing that I really wanted was Jemima to get into the 11, and I mentioned this last game as well, the heartbreaking loss that India had to England. And I mentioned at that time that I think you cannot afford to keep Jemima out. She didn't have a great start to the tournament, but she is a batter who can bat at a much higher strike rate, as she showed today. And I think her 76 at a strike rate of almost 140, which is a rarity in women's cricket, it just shows you how important she is. So first thing, I think they have gotten their 11 right. First things first. I think that is something that the Indian team need to follow. I know there was a bit of a confusion as to what would be the right combination. They started with just five bowlers, but went in with the sixth bowler in the last game. They've gone back to only five bowlers, more batters. And I think this is India's right combination. I'd said it last match also, right after India's loss. I'm saying it now. Five bowlers is fine. I know that just, probably leaves you a bit vulnerable in the bowling. Maybe against a team like Australia, they might hurt you. But I think uh, it is going to be tough to stop Australia anyway, piling on a lot of runs. So whether you play with five or whether you play with six, I don't think that's going to make too much of a difference. So your strategy against a team like Australia or these bigger teams has to be, doesn't matter how many runs they get to, we'll try and chase it down. And I think that probably should be the strategy that India should look at. That's why I think five bowlers, pack your team with a batter and try and chase or maybe set a total, depends on where you're doing against Australia. That'll be India's best strategy. So for me, they've played the best team. I also a bit surprised that they did not continue playing Renuka Singh Thakur from the start. They've played her a game earlier, and then now they've gotten her back. But the way she's bowling and these conditions, sometime with the ball is swinging, especially at night, she is a must. So you have to play Renuka Singh Thakur as well. So. Uh, she has to be there in the five bowlers that you've got. And Pratika Rawal showed you that even though her action is in the conventional type. Not a big fan of her action, but I'd say that still a sixth bowling option would be very good in the form of Pratika Rawal. So maybe they can look at doing that as well. The other thing, I guess, you know. Going back, I felt India were a bit unlucky overall, a bit unlucky with the fact that they couldn't really, go across the line. I think those games were India's games. They should have won the game versus Australia, should have won the game versus South Africa, should have won the game versus England. What that does is India needed this confidence boosting win that they've gotten now. What I think they've done is also kind of showed everyone. Firstly, glad that they've qualified for the semi-final. All that talk about, they get paid the same as men's and so on and so forth. And how long are we going to be seeing this, that they keep losing? Where is the accountability? I agree with the accountability part. There should be accountability 100%. But I think equating it to money was just pushing it a bit. So, firstly, I'm glad that they've qualified for the semi-final, and I think those close losses also tell me that on a given day they can beat any of those three teams. So they may have qualified at number fourth spot, maybe up against Australia, but I think every other team in the top four is also going to fear this Indian team because I think they have the talent of beating anyone. I think they just panicked a bit in those previous games that came back to hurt them. But if they've learned from those games as they did today, clinical with the bat and the ball, I think all other teams would be equally scared of India. It's not that they've not upset Australia. 2017 Harman's knock, they've upset them before. I'm sure they can upset them now as well. And the good thing is, Smriti Mandhana has struck form. She didn't start off the tournament very well. She is the number one batter in this format, and I'm so glad that she struck form. And the other thing, she mentioned last game, she took the responsibility, took the blame of losing the game on her. And I think she's now kind of rectified that today. That is why you see the long knock. I think this conversation must have been there between the rest of the team. And I think that has now resulted in all of them deciding that, yeah, I think this is the way to go. And that each of us has to take the responsibility of batting deep. And I think that's exactly what they've done. And if the entire team can then back them, as I said, with Jemima there, Harman there getting runs the last game, both your openers striking it rich. Harleen has been amongst the runs as well. Richa started off the tournament very well with a lot of runs. Deepti, as we've seen, is can get you, those crucial runs. So I think India's batting lineup then is sorted. Go with five bowlers, and Renuka Singh Thakur has to be one of those. The rest of them have also been chipping well. Sneh Rana has done well. Sri Charni has done well too. Deepti, of course, is again on a given day a match winner. So yeah, those are just some of the thoughts that I had about the game. Uh, I think India's best chance to win a World Cup. Again, I'm not saying it now. I said it earlier. All they need to do is just qualify for the semifinals that they've done, despite a lot of hiccups, despite a lot of games where they stuttered. And now it's a question of two good games. Can this team give you those two good games? I have no reason to doubt them. I think they'll go in. Like if they go in against Australia, I'll just say it's just a marginal uh, advantage that I'll give Australia. Not that much, but a marginal. Priyanshu says, I'm also saying since the start that this is the best chance. If you can't win here at home, where else? I agree. I agree with you. Sarat Chandra says, maybe the wounds are new, but I'm not that hopeful or excited. Okay. Of our chances, we'll support them no matter, but we have seen them crumble. Big title win is yeah, I agree. I think Sarachandra, you have a point. I think till they show that they can hold their nerves in big games and finish off games which they've not shown in this tournament, and that doubt will remain. Which is why I said that other teams that they'll play in the semis or the final, the opposition will start as favorite, but not by a big margin. That's what I'm saying. In terms of talent, in terms of the personnel, team combination, I don't think this Indian team is inferior to anyone. Yes, the only thing I think is not having won a big total, so that mental block can stay. That can, cause you to panic on good situation. So that remains the only question mark. But somewhere you got to start. Today, like they're up against the T20 world champions in New Zealand. They completely outplayed them. It was also a do or die game. So, a lot of pressure, virtual quarterfinals. So, okay, few more. Nishad Shetty saying, hopefully South Africa will beat Australia so we don't have to face them. Anyway, we beat Australia in the 2017 semi-final. Absolutely, Nishad. That's what I said. Most likely it's going to be an uh, India-Australia semi. But I mean, South Africa have been very good in this tournament, so you never know. They can beat them. But I don't look at it that way. If I'm the Indian team, I would want to say, bring it on. If you have to win the title, you'll have to beat the top teams. If not now, you'll meet them in the final. 2017, yes, was a great World Cup, but you didn't win the World Cup. You lost to the hosts in the final. Eventually, titles that matter, whether you lose in the semis or finals. So I'd say, you know, bring it on. Chili Paneer says Pratika is a better bowler than Sneh Rana. She is a smart bowler. You should bring in Amanjot Kaur for Sneh Rana. Please go with three spin and three. Ooh. But it's a good. I know that you've sacrificed with Amanjot being dropped, um, and she scored that run in the first game. I think it was Sri Lanka. Amanjot's knock was very careful. You could look at that, but I don't think I can trust Pratika with a full quota. Honestly, with a uh, with a full quota of 10 overs, she can just be a backup bowling option. She can't be an out and out spinner for you. So in that case, just Deepti and Sri Charni in Indian conditions, just two spinners. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. Dev Pratap Singh Chauhan says that Nikhil Bhai Smriti gives vibes of 90s Tendulkar. Where of others in skill? Or if she fails, will look terrible. It's a good point that you made, but I'll tell you, there is a difference. I think the most destructive batter in the team still is Harman. Still, Jemima too can be destructive, very effective. And I must tell you that what I saw of Pratika Rawal today, she looks like a proper bat. I'll let you in on a secret. As you know, that I did a live program with Mr. Gavaskar on the India men's teams match where they lost. And we were just casually chatting after the program offline, and he mentioned to me, he said, this girl Pratika Rawal, wow. He said that, I would see Harman and I would see Smriti, and I'd be like, these are two such pure looking batters, like proper batters, joy to watch. And he's like, I'm going to add Pratika to that. So good. She's so good. She can bat really well. She comes from Delhi, by the way. I believe she's from modern school, Bara Khamba. Has trained here all her life. So she looked. Priyanshu is also saying technically best player that you've seen in a while. Correct. Mr. Gavaskar also had the same thought. Uh, so that's that. I got a question which is Ashish Dhar's. Question: can India finish top four? So India can now go to top three. I mean, he said, can India be top three? They can't be because India finished at 6 points. At best, they can get to 8 points if they are to beat Bangladesh by a big margin. But the team that's third already is England with 9. So 9, 10, 11 are the rest of the team, and India can't get to that. So India is finishing fourth, that's confirmed. But South Africa, Australia, that's going to decide, and let us know who finishes on top and who is it that India gets to face. Rohit is saying Australia is a complete team. Throughout the tournament, they are not even being challenged. It reminds me of India 2023, maybe even better. They are packed with all-rounders, power hitters, a complete package. But since Rohit, you're comparing with India 2023, you know what happened in the final of that 2023 World Cup, huh? Two games. Two games. I am telling you, I'm not being just overly optimistic. I said this even before this tournament started. India's best chance to win the World Cup. I think they have the team to do it. It's just about the temperament, which is now, uh, betrayed them on a few occasions in this tournament already. That's why some of us are not 100% sure. But, uh, I still think that they have the team to really do it. Baltej is saying, why is Harman not bowling Renuka for a full quota of 10 overs? I think she would have bowled her Baltej today, but I think India had almost won the game. The required run rate had gone over 15, 16, 19, gone up to 20. So I think she's trying all other bowlers. She didn't really need to push her fast bowler. But had it been a close game like the remaining games, then she would have, 100% got her to bowl the full quota. Mr. Haynes wants to know why Women's World Cup is getting played in second tier cities but not in top tier. Most of those don't have global facilities. Why this discrimination? But just to point out, that's not true. Firstly, they're trying to spread the game, and as you see, sometime in slightly smaller center, though I wouldn't call, you know, Vizag in that sense a smaller center. The games in Sri Lanka being played in Colombo, Indore. Now you get test matches there. uh, Now you're playing in Mumbai, okay, maybe not in Wankhede, but you're still playing in Mumbai. It's Navi Mumbai. So overall, you're playing in top cities where people, will come and watch you. So I don't see any problem with that. Also helps fill the seats, packed houses. Why wouldn't you want? Because a lot of these centers don't get competitive cricket, so no issue with that as well. Rohit says maybe the last couple of questions. He says, I still think we could have won South Africa and England game, just lack the finishing touches. Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. Which is why I'm saying, never know. Never know from here on if I am England, if I am South Africa, I am going to be worried that, this Indian team can hurt me. I'm telling you honestly. We got a lot of questions on Virat and all, so I'll try and answer those in a remaining stream. For the moment, I'll take your leave. You guys take care. Good match. As clinical as always. I must tell you, I was also slightly nervous because it's a do or die game. And had India not made the semi-final, they would have massively underperformed in this game. Glad they've done what you know expect them to do, and they've managed to win this particular game. And again, Final comment, Pavan Hola. India should approach semis like how they approached the bilateral series against Aussie. Good point. It was more of a mental blockage that causing a defeat. Good point. I mean, I think, you're matching them stroke for stroke in those bilateral series. In fact, in the bilateral level, you've been outstanding. Completely agree. If India can do that, and I think sometimes those losses that you've had will help you overcome in the crucial games. Had India won those close encounters, I know they would have gone with a lot of confidence. They've topped the table as well, but sometimes you can get complacent and then lose to the same teams. Now that you've lost, you know what they're capable of. See, against Australia, I'll tell you, India got 330. They should have got 350. But somewhere, you failed to do that, and then you paid the price for it. I think you'll be the wiser now when you'll be facing the same team. So can't wait for the semis to come. Fingers crossed. Who knows? 2025 could be the year for Indian women's cricket. They waited a long time. I'll take your leave. You guys have a good night. Um, See you tomorrow, right here, Sports Today, with lots more updates and lots more sports related videos. Okay. Including all the questions you had about the Indian men's team. I tried to answer some of them today. Do check those videos out, but tomorrow we'll be live on the dugout. I'll try and do it there as well. Bye bye.